Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. This is the Pete's Premium Parlay Show for college football week 7. I'm Peter Loshak. All right. Fucking lines, man. I got an interesting week, as always, in college football. I decided on 7 legs for my parlay this week. I'm going to do a round robin of 5, 6, and 7s. High volatility. That means it's probably going to lose. You know, if 5 win, then it basically breaks even. If 6 wins, it's a fat payday. 7 win, of course, it's a party time. I'll start with going over the stuff that Brent told me was sharp this week. West Virginia at -3.5, he said was sharp. He did get a little bit of buyback, Texas Tech +6, but West Virginia -3.5. I did consider taking that. Right now they're -6, -115 at BetDSI, -250 on the money line. I considered it, I believed in the West Virginia -3.5 was sharp, but ultimately decided against it. But, it's probably the right side there. Then Marshall at -21.5. Sharp, supposedly Central Michigan, 10.5 and 10. And TCU Baylor on the over. Now it's over 66 and 67. Now it's down to 64. So obviously that's probably sharp action that came back in the other direction. Probably more sharp than the initial money on the over. Who knows? But at the time of our call, Brent told me that sharp action came in on TCU Baylor on the over. And then he said sharp action also came on the over in Illinois, Wisconsin. That was 55 and 56. That was one that I almost took. Right now it's 57 at BetDSI, but ultimately I decided against it. All right, go over a few of these that I almost took but didn't. TCU and Baylor, right? Game of the week. Brent from BetDSI did tell me that sharp action came in on TCU at +10. Now it's +8. Tony George from TonyGeorgeSports.com still likes him at +8.5. Joe Duffy gave the other side. He actually likes Baylor at -8. I have read, a bunch of opinions online, supporting both TCU and Baylor. It's an interesting game, interesting matchup, probably a little bit of value if you got him at +10, but, I'm going to leave that one out of the parlay. I also almost took a shot with the over 63 in Auburn, Mississippi State. Probably that one's going to be, super high scoring. It's, the writing's on the wall for that one. But, with these high-profile games, a lot of times, the games play out very differently than their previous games played out and the way we're all expecting. So, I almost took the over 63 in that one, but ultimately decided against it. Almost took a shot with Minnesota. -4 or money line -175 over Northwestern, but ultimately decided against that one as well. Minnesota, of course, playing well off a bye, but we'll see. And then the LSU Florida game. I like LSU on that one. I almost took them at +1. It's interesting that the line has moved in favor of Florida, and I almost took a shot with the under on that one as well, but in the end decided against it. All right, so let's get to the 7 legs that I like this week. The first one is just for my own handicapping. I'm going to take the under 53 in Indiana, Iowa. It's a very low total for Indiana. I think it's probably low for a reason. We know what Iowa does. They kind of play a ball-controlled style, strong on defense, weak on offense. And, I think that Iowa should be able to hold down Indy's passing game. Hopefully, Indy will try to run a lot with that guy Coleman, get yards, but hopefully not points. And Iowa's weak offense, we know what that's all about. So I'm thinking that this one stays in the 40s. That's going to be my first leg, Indiana, Iowa, under 53. Then I'm going to take a play that comes basically straight from Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. That's going to be Tulsa, +17, -115. That line opened at 14.5, and a lot of people, bet that one up. We can understand why. Tulsa's been a bad bet against the spread this year. Temple's been a great bet. No surprise that line got bet up, but Steve gave us a great breakdown of that game. He said he thinks it's a little bit of a trap, which was the exact same thing that he told us last week in the Ball State Army game. He was dead on about that one. He likes Tulsa here at +17 as long as it doesn't go over 17.5. Looks like it's coming back down. So I'm going to throw this one in as the second leg of the parlay, Tulsa +17, -115. Then for my third leg, Alabama, Arkansas. I'm going to take Arkansas. Currently +9 at BetDSI. I know Alabama's off a loss and Nick Saban and everything, and they're going to bounce back big and all that stuff. Arkansas's off a bye. Yeah, could easily see this one wind up in retrospect, winding up being, a completely square play. Alabama winning by, in the 20s. But I'm going to take a shot that even if Alabama, pulls out a win here, that Arkansas manages to keep it within single digits. I'm going to take Arkansas +9, -110. Maybe it'll wind up being square. Who knows? Then the next leg, recommended by Joe Duffy, I am going to take North Carolina. Right now, they're plus 16.5, minus 105 at BetDSI. I'm up to plus 17, minus 115 against Notre Dame. I previewed that game with Joe Duffy. He really liked North Carolina. He agreed with me at plus 17 at that time. So I'm going to throw it in plus 17, minus 115. You know, North Carolina was ranked in the lower top 25 in the between 20 and 25 to start the season. Obviously, they've had a they've underwhelmed, they've underachieved this year. Talent is probably there. Sandwich spot for Notre Dame. You know, maybe they'll get blown out by 30, but I'm going to throw that in the parlay. UNC plus 17, minus 115. Then I'm going to throw in, I previewed Washington and California with Troy West from allplayswin.com. We both said we liked Washington at plus 3.5, and that's been a big move in favor of California, right? It was opened at like Cal minus 1. Now it's gotten bet all the way up to a minus 3.5. It's actually Washington plus 3.5, minus 105 currently at BetDSI. I said I didn't understand the line movement, and I like Washington. Troy West agreed. Maybe we're both wrong here, but I'm going to throw that in as the next leg of my parlay. Washington plus 3.5, minus 105 currently at BetDSI. Then I'm going to take a shot with Texas A&M minus 2.5 against Ole Miss. Obviously, huge win for Ole Miss against Alabama last week. Are they going to let down here? Kind of an obvious pick here, but I think that Texas A&M is a flawed team. They do have problems, and those problems are probably going to be in play in this game and for the rest of the year. But given the situation and the line, Texas A&M minus 2.5, I'm going to go with it as the next leg of my parlay. And then the last leg in the parlay is going to come basically straight from Brent. Georgia State plus 10. Brent told me that Georgia State at plus 13 and plus 12 was a sharp side here. It's just down at 10, so, that's not great. But as long as it's in double digits, I'm willing to take it. We know the deal with Georgia State, right? They've been the kind of team that's been a big underdog for the past year and a half. Tended, though, to keep things close and tended, though, to cover these kinds of lines. The Sharps like them at 13 and 12, so I'm willing to throw them in the parlay at plus 10 for the seventh and final leg of this parlay. All right. So, the 7 legs are Indiana, Iowa, under 53, Tulsa plus 17, minus 115, Arkansas plus 9, North Carolina plus 17, minus 115, Washington plus 3.5, minus 105, Texas A&M minus 2.5, and Georgia State plus 10. So that's 7 legs. I'm going to do a 5, 6, and 7 team round robin. $3.45 base, so that's $100.05 to win $3,174.90 if all 7 legs win. And if 5 of them win, basically break even. If 6 win, pretty solid payday. All right, so that's the Pete's Premium Parlay for college football, Week 7. Thanks for tuning in.